I'm Piper.
I'm Carolyn.
And I'm Harper.
For our Charrette project, we designed a chemo infusion center called Thera Infusion Center. Our design concept statement was the design of Thera Infusion Center creates an accommodating and relaxed environment for cancer patients to receive chemotherapy infusion treatment in a stress-free and anxiety-reducing space.
Okay, so first up, we did our precedent study on Östra Hospital. The Östra Hospital was designed by white architects in Sweden and was created to alleviate the suffering of psychiatry patients and their families. White architects created a welcoming and caring environment that treats the facility's design as an element of patient care. Nature is a significant influence throughout the facility as access to nature has been shown to have positive effects on health and well-being. The project highlights a focus on visual connection with nature, dynamic and diffuse light, complexity and order, and refuge. All these elements improve mental engagement, increase visual comfort, positively impacted physiological stress responses, and improved perception of safety. These elements and principles can be utilized in the design of the chemotherapy infusion center to help improve patients' experience throughout cancer treatment and overall assist in their journey back to health.
For our selection for our From psychological needs, we selected relatedness, but also identity. This is important to the project because patients should have the option of having a private treatment space where they can have time to themselves in their chemo process while also having access to a communal treatment space where they can converse and connect with other patients. It is important to have privacy in an intense time. However, being a part of a community allows for patients to feel less alone and provides them in the space to relate to others. This is achieved through the design in our chemotherapy infusion center, and it will have 2 spaces for patients to undergo treatment, private spaces / rooms, and open communal spaces. The private rooms will have individual chairs and any necessary equipment / necessities patients / staff will need, and will allow patients to have their own space. Communal spaces will have multiple chairs and necessary equipment to allow for patients to openly converse and connect with others in the same situations. For our introspective sense, we selected chronoception, which is the perception of time. The perception of time is essential in the built environment because as humans, our lives center around the theory of time, so we must create and design spaces that can accommodate for that. Cancer patients undergoing chemotherapy infusion spend a large amount of that time in treatment centers. Establishing a sense of time throughout the design of the space can help prevent boredom and ease the mind of patients. And on the right, we have a visual representation of how that process works.
For our mood board, we wanted to pull inspiration from relaxing and calming spaces, so we took inspiration from courtyards and like Zen gardens. We wanted to incorporate a large courtyard in the middle of our center for patients to be able to relax in between their infusion treatments. We want to incorporate lots of nature as we researched in our precedent study, and we wanted to incorporate a large water feature in the middle for patients to observe. For our material board, we wanted to continue the theme of nature and calming aspects, so we chose lots of wood tones and like calming colors like blues and tans to continue that theme of nature and relaxation.
Next up, we have the bubble diagrams. So the one on the left was kind of like our basic one. It's not the one that we ended up choosing, but as you can see, we have the group bays and the private suites across from each other, and then all the other necessary rooms. And then the room on the bubble diagram on the right is the one that we ended up going with. We have the courtyard in the middle, and then the group bays and private suites on the sides, and then all the other spaces around that.
The next thing we looked at was the renderings. In the first rendering, it's a sketch of one of the private bays. Some of the call outs are the materials that are in the material palette that will go into that space. We really wanted to focus on creating a relaxing and calming environment with the colors, the textures, and the furniture that we selected. And then in the second rendering, it's a picture of the courtyard space. So we have the large pond-like feature with plants surrounding it, which is also has call-outs of the materials that'll be used in that space.
Next was the floor plan that we designed. So we start with the front entrance here, and you walk in to the reception desk, which we have a elevation call out over here of. And then to the right of that is the waiting area for families and patients to wait for treatment or wait for their loved ones to be done with their treatment. Around there is the treatment planning room where doctors and patients can plan out their chemo treatment plan. Next to that is the staff station for staff to work in, and then next to that are 3 private suites. And then next to that is the bathroom, or one of 2 of the bathrooms that we put in there, a single use ADA compliant. And then we put in a kitchen in the center so staff and patients have a place to go make meals, or usually patients are there for several hours or the entire day, so we wanted a place for them to be able to like make their own food or store snacks for during the day. Then next to that we have a large storage area just for the entire facility to store any materials or products they'd be using or medications. Then next to that is the group bay. We wanted to put in a lot of windows, like big open windows to create natural light, but we also wanted patients to be able to see the sun kind of rise and set. It was a big part of our design to incorporate the aspect of like seeing time pass. So we thought that having lots of natural light would help patients not feel so stuck in the building the whole day. Next to that, we have a linen closet for like blankets and things for patients to store in while they're doing their treatments. And then we have another ADA compliant bathroom next to that. And then in the center of everything is our large courtyard, once again with large open windows so patients can see in from the group bay and the waiting area and also the suites and anywhere around that.
And then at the bottom left, we have our 2 interior elevations. So the first one would be what the reception desk or reception area would look like. So you walk in, we have a desk, and then behind that we have a plant wall with our name of the infusion center in the middle of that. And then below that we have what the group base would look like. So that's just a section of it. There would be like 6 chairs in there. But there's chairs and then all the equipment, and there's going to be curtains or like room dividers between each ones if patients want to have more privacy in those spaces. And there's also going to be floor-to-ceiling windows behind the chairs and all of the equipment to bring in natural daylight.